questions for myself, for Mike?
Yes, hi, I'm from Stark County, and I did try to reach Mr. Ganadakis last week, but I forgive you, that's all right. You're a busy guy, that's fine. My question for you, Mr. Renacci, is 2 years ago, Mr. Bossieri face-to-face said, yes, I am pro-life, just as you told us. Now you are telling us, yes, I am pro-life. What other than your word do we have to back that up? Have you been active in pro-life events and activities? And
yeah, let me answer that. You know, it's a good question because there's some people, there's some candidates and some supporters of other candidates that believe the only way you can be pro-life is to go to jail for abortion clinics or do things that present you 100% pro-life. Well, you heard Mr. Ganadakis say, you're either pro-life or you're not pro-life. There's no in between. And the other answer I can give you is, for me, I've been a Catholic all my life. I've always supported pro-life. I've always signed petitions. I've always donated. I've always done a lot of things for the conception side. But you also have to remember, and I've said this all along, and one of the candidates today said something totally wrong, because pro-life is from conception to natural death. And one of the candidates said today, that natural death doesn't mean anything. There's no laws against it. Truth of it is, how about in the state of Oregon? You know, so pro-life, conception to natural death. Now, I will tell you that I've spent most of my career, all of my life, as a practicing Catholic, all of my life supporting pro-life from the conception side, all of my life signing petitions, all of my life always having my name on the petitions, and all my life contributing. Have I stood on an abortion clinic? No. But I've done that. Now on the other side of the pro-life spectrum, 30 years of dealing with elderly and making sure that that side of the life side is the right, you know, is within the pro-life guidelines. So I'm very proud of my 30 years, and it's not just standing in front of abortion clinics, and it's not going to jail for abortion clinics, although I know one of the candidates will claim that he's been arrested 8 times, and that's okay too, because I believe that there are all ways. You're either pro-life or you're not pro-life. I'm definitely pro-life, and I'll always stand behind that.
If I can throw in a word here too. Mr. Bossieri did not complete our questionnaire 2 years ago, isn't that right? And we were not able to endorse him. So he said he was pro-life, but he kind of whispered it. You know, it was almost like he didn't really want to come out strongly pro-life. He wasn't proud to have our endorsement. He was not endorsed. And you know, Kurt Scheuring was our endorsed candidate in that race. We would have loved to have a pro-life Democrat and a pro-life Republican facing off against each other, because then we, you know, in theory, win either way. But he did not come out strongly proclaiming, you know, his pro-life stand in the campaign process 2 years ago. So.
I think one of the things important before Mike answers too is there's 4 candidates in this race, and I think only 2 submitted requests to be endorsed. Is that correct?
That's correct.
that was my next question.
So there are 2 that didn't promote a request to be endorsed, and one of them that didn't even present an application or didn't even request it is also complaining that, you know, he should have been endorsed. It's an interesting scenario. Mike, you can go from there.
Yeah. Again, just to repeat something I said earlier, there's not a litmus test that we look at. There's no good works. Now, for the men and women who've shed blood, sweat, and tears over the years, so people like myself, I'm 36, I don't consider myself to be a young guy anymore, but for future generations, you know, we're going to always admire and respect the work they do, but truth be told, I've never been arrested. I've never stood outside an abortion facility before in my life. I've never been involved with 40 Days for Life. I can sit here behind this podium and say, well, I'm the executive director, so I'm the first in line. I'm the most pro-life in the room. Hogwash. That doesn't matter. You know, we all put our pants on the same way, one leg at a time. And the pro-life movement, it's amazing to see how it works, whether it's a young group of 15, 16-year-olds marching in D.C. or someone being arrested at an abortion facility, outside of an abortion facility. It's amazing how we all come together. The passion is amazing in the movement. Sometimes it's a blessing, sometimes it's a curse with the passion, but at the end of the day, we need to stay united, because look what happens when we don't. We have men and women who get elected on a platform that will work in their district, but then, as Mr. Renacci said, when push comes to shove, the most important vote we could have ever had, they turn their back. I don't know another way of putting it. I wish I could put it a nicer way, but I cannot, because that's exactly what happened with Mr. Boccieri. He just turned his back. Some people try to say, well, we got the executive order, so that covers it. Keep in mind, folks, John Boccieri, before the executive order was even announced, changed his vote. So he can't hide behind the executive order, which it means nothing anyways. The law trumps executive order, we all know that. But John Boccieri, prior to Stupak standing up saying we have an agreement, switched. So it's bad all around, but that's super bad. Maybe that's not even correct English, but I guess we're just so passionate because the first time around when the House voted for the health care bill before it got to the Senate, John Boccieri voted no. So he voted no, and then when Pelosi and the president and others came to him and put the pressure on him, he abandoned you. I don't live in the district, you do. He abandoned you, he abandoned all of us, but first and foremost, he abandoned you.
Mr. Renacci, if you do become our next congressman, do you plan on leaving the health care bill as is, or do you plan on trying to do something to either reform it or replace it? What's your plans?
It's a good question. Before it was passed, I actually signed a pledge with Hope for Growth that I would repeal it. Now, I will tell you, it's law, that I would move to try and repeal it. It is law. It cannot be repealed. All right, and here's the reason it can't be repealed. Even if Congress went in and went to repeal it in November after a new Congress is there, you have to have a supermajority because you have to override a presidential veto because the president's not going to let it just go through. Here's what I believe we should do, and here's what the Republican Party, the conservative Republican group that I am now, I hope to be involved with in November and after November, but also that I'm talking to and working with. We should work very hard to defund the program, and that's going to be the goal. There were some good things in that bill, all right? And a lot of people, when you say that, go, oh, how can you have good things? Well, pre-existing conditions. That's a situation. We don't need to have people. We need to take care of the safety net for people. We just don't need to do it in this drastic form that we did. So the two things that I think were good was the pre-existing condition legislation and the caps on certain, if you have cancer or whatever, certain limitational caps. Otherwise, I think the rest of the bill, we need to start all over again. And the reason I say that is that bill, 85% of the problems was cost, 15% was coverage. The only thing we did with that bill was take care of the coverage. We didn't fix the cost. So your policies now are expected by the CBO, Congressional Budget Office, to go almost to increase by $2,300 per year. That's a problem. Cost of that, the taxes, that cost us $500 million in new taxes and $500 million from the Medicare program. That's how we're going to fund this. I'm sorry. Billion. Yeah, I'm sorry, billion. 1 trillion total. I said that wrong. 1 trillion total. That is how they're going to fund this program. It's a problem. And I got to tell you, I still operate a nursing home. It's going to be a detriment to taking care of the elderly. And anybody who passed that bill the way it is today is putting literally taking money out of the ability to take care of the elderly. And that's a problem.